y'all drowning. And some of y'all are drowning and not surviving is because you done took your eyes off Jesus. Well, you just touch somebody and tell them you got to keep your eyes on him. That neighbor don't want to talk. They acting a little bougie today. Look at somebody else and say you got to keep your eyes on him. If there's going to be a survival mode, that's a couple things we got to do. Can I tell you what the first thing is we got to learn how to surrender to his will. Look at somebody say surrender to his will. He said in the same way you who are young must accept the authorities of the elders, and all who are youth dress yourself in humility as related to one another. He says, for God oppresses the proud, my Lord, but give grace to the humble. So he says, so humble yourself under the almighty powers of God. And listen, he said there's a conjunction in it. He said not only must you humble yourself, and at the right time, he will lift you up. You don't do it yourself. If you let God do it, he says, if you allow to surrender your will to God's will, he'll lift you up. So I got at least 5 people in the room that can testify that God will lift you up. I'm still not convinced. I said, do I got at least 5 people in the room that can testify that God will lift you up? If that's going to be a lifting, if that's going to be a surrendering, you got to learn how to surrender yourself. You got to learn how to surrender yourself. Listen, it's easy to tell somebody else to get up and do something. How many of y'all can motivate your own self? You know, I've seen some great people give some great advice, but they don't take none of it. You got to surrender your seat. He says too many of us are stressed because we're sitting in a seat that never assigned to us. In other words, we're handling things that God never told us to handle. We're doing things that God, we're working out of our capacity. You're trying to handle weight and God told you to turn it over to me. You're trying to move people out your way. He said stand still and see the salvation. You're trying to look at somebody and tell them you're trying to do too much. We're trying to sit in the seat of God and control things that are beyond our control. We can't orchestrate this concert. We can't direct this concert. I know that this is your body. I know that this, but you told the Lord, for God I live, and for God I die. But if he's your sin, you know how we get so saved and so sanctified, giving honor to God, who's the head. Is he really the head? Or is he head